what DeMar DeRozan has been doing for the Chicago Bulls in the absence of some of their best players, with a lot of injuries around the roster. Zach LaVine's been out, Lonzo Ball's been out, Alex Caruso has been in and out of the lineup. And DeMar DeRozan, despite all of this, has still been able to drag the Chicago Bulls to some really impressive wins, putting up some really impressive and historic numbers.
Anytime a Wilt Chamberlain record is broken, that's something to look at. Usually when a player is doing something historic, it's first to do it since Wilt Chamberlain. It's not, this player just broke Wilt Chamberlain's record. And after the first time I saw this stat, I was like, it was a couple games before he actually broke the record. He broke the Bulls record of 35 plus 50 field goal percentage plus games. And I was just like, what? He just beat a Michael Jordan record? Oh, okay. Especially a scoring Michael Jordan record. Then I see someone tag me on Twitter. It was like the stat where he broke Wilt's record and it said thoughts. And I replied, I said, is this real? Like, I didn't know if it was real or not. But I was just kind of like, he broke Wilt Chamberlain's record, which actually kind of surprised me in the first place. Wilt Chamberlain only doing that in 6 games in a row feels fake. You know, I was genuinely surprised, but like, if anybody was gonna do it this season, it's going to be the guy who maybe isn't the most efficient scorer from a true shooting standpoint, but a guy who gets a large percentage of his volume scoring done in the 2-point range. A guy like DeRozan who can manufacture a mid-range shot whenever he wants and get to the rim at a high level, as well as get to the free throw line at a high level, things like that. He's been able to ramp up the scoring volume to a very high level this year. He's now over 28 points per game. He's doing it in every way. Like I made a tweet today where he's 89th percentile as a pick and roll scorer, 91st percentile as an isolation scorer, and 93rd percentile as a post-up scorer. Those are like the 3 big value add type of scoring where it's like you can manufacture your own bucket and it's not reliant on anyone. Those numbers are only rivaled by like Kevin Durant in Oklahoma City and LeBron James in Miami. That level of scoring versatility on these different play types is just absurd, and he's doing it while being 68th in the league in touches per game. He's getting less touches than Monte Morris right now, putting up these type of numbers. And for me, it's just, we know what DeRozan's been capable of. In Toronto, he showed that he's one of the best slashers and mid-range scorers in the game, putting it together like that. Then in San Antonio, he started to show a lot more playmaking and very low error creation for his team. And now he's just putting it all together while playing the best defense of his career. And while I won't jump on he's an MVP candidate, top 5 player in the world, he's a phenomenal basketball player, and he 100% deserves all of the credit right now.
No doubt. And, you know, I'm not necessarily on the boat that he deserves to be like, oh, he's like top 5 in the MVP conversation or anything like that. Statistically, DeMar DeRozan may not be an MVP candidate right now. He may not be like, you know, top 5, top 3 in the race. But what he's doing is not only incredibly fun to watch, but it's also incredibly valuable. You know, like you said, he's adding a ton of value to his team on the scoring end. And while, you know, he's not playmaking like Jokic, he's not doing the things that Joel Embiid is doing, he's not the two-way player that Giannis is while also leading the league in scoring. You know, he still deserves to be mentioned in that MVP discussion. I'm not saying he's, you know, 4th, 5th, or top 3 or anything like that, but you know, he deserves to be in the mix. Now, whether or not there's any credence to him actually winning the award, you know, that's up for debate. People can argue about that all day long. I'm not going to get into it. But what he's doing is still incredibly valuable, especially when you look at some of his numbers in the clutch right now, which is where a lot of value is added, because in games decided by 5 or less points in the clutch this season, he is 4th highest in points per game in the clutch. And he's shooting with a 67.4% true shot percentage in the clutch, which is the highest efficiency among any of the top 10 scorers in the clutch this season. So while he's maybe not scoring the most points in the clutch, and I forget who exactly that was, he is doing it on the best efficiency out of the best scorers in the clutch. And there's a lot of value to be said for that. And while it does directly result in wins, and I know people are going to argue over if he is an actual MVP candidate, that's pretty valuable stuff right there. I mean, scoring in the clutch is probably one of the most direct ways that you can help your team win games. and he's been arguably the best at it this year when you take scoring output and efficiency into perspective.